Hey FPL managers, welcome back. We've got another episode of BBT. I'm your host, Points Master Utz, and I'm joined by the always high flying Suj. This week we're going to be talking about Man City's form, the legend that is Kun Aguero, Liverpool apparently are Thanos now somehow, and Ings continues to defy expectations. Oh, and one more thing we must address: how Solskjaer is clearly against United fans trying to make any FPL points. So Suj, Gameweek 22 was a profitable one for me. How was yours?
Another below average rate error.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, okay, let's go on to the positive news about Man City's form. They continue to ramp up their wins ever since their defeat against Wolves, and they duly responded against Aston Villa with a nice 6 goals against them. They've gone past Leicester, and their form is only second to Liverpool. And after Liverpool's first loss this weekend, City will then have the best form. Yeah. So of course Aguero was a big part of that game. But before we do that, let's just go quickly on our form players rather for the captain picks this week, right? For game week 23. So we've got Mahrez, we've got Martial, and we've got Ings. And before we actually start talking about Mahrez, I just must go over this Aguero story. The Argentinian now he's moved past Thierry Henry being the highest scorer of an overseas based player in the Premier League, right? I think he's got like 177 goals now. That's actually level with Frank Lampard. It just shows like how much of an impact he's had on the Premier League. He's 12th hat-trick on the weekend. What did you think of his performance?
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic, but bad in the sense that I just didn't have him in my team, and other people had him as captain. So, but the performance in itself was the Aguero of all that. I was completely impressed.
Yeah. But now people might be wondering now why if he was so wonderful, why are we picking Mahrez for the pick this week? I would say his price is prohibitive. Is anything on your side that you would be like?
Well, look, his stats are only from one game week. He only had one excellent game. Before that, he hasn't played much. Whereas Mahrez at least played the last 4 games, and in that last 4 games, he got 2 goals and 3 assists. So that's why he's on the form table. He's got no record against Crystal Palace, and he's low in the XG table.
Yeah.
And also the fact that Crystal Palace only won one in the last 5 games. Oh, but I've only lost one in those also because it's 3 draws. So it'll be a bit of a tough one. I don't think it'll be another Aston Villa crumbling, but it will be Crumble Palace to lose this game. Maybe tightly 1-0, 2-1. Yeah.
Crumble Palace, I forgot about that. No, but seriously though, that 3 draws, they haven't really been impressive. I mean, you can see Zaha is kind of carrying that team a little, but they are quite high on the table, So again, I think you're right. Crystal Palace won't be a walkover, but with Mahrez's form, I mean, sure. There is a slight terror warning because if you pick Mahrez now, they've only got like this game week and the next game week where they've got decent fixtures, and after that you start seeing your Tottenham away, your United, they play Leicester, so it's a lot of reds in that fixture list. So do be careful if you do pick Mahrez. But for captain this week, I would definitely consider him.
We're gonna find out if he's fixture proof in the next couple of game weeks.
Yeah, for sure. Then moving on to Martial, he had a great game on the Wednesday night. Well, when I say great game, I mean relative. He had a nice assist to a delicious Mata goal. And I just want to give a shout out there to Robin, who commented who put a comment there laughing at me rather, because I said United were going to struggle against Norwich. And I must be humble and say I was completely wrong.
I wish you could be humble every week then. So United can actually win 3 games in a row. Well, we've won 1 Premier League game, 1 FA Cup game. Now the third one is Liverpool away.
Yeah, I think that streak is going to continue. But but talking about Martial though, I mean his form is pretty good, right?
Yeah, in the last 4 games, 4 goals, 2 assists. He's got 2 goals against Liverpool. Pretty high up in the XG table. He was 8th in the XG table. Yeah. And he's playing out of position, similar like Landstrom, where he's classified as midfielder but playing up front, so those extra points will help.
Yeah.
This sort of seems when Rashford is playing, he seems to do pretty well and he gets the points.
Yes. I think he kind of passes the smell test. Like I think his skill level and all that, he has no problem. The only real problem is going to be something that I mentioned about the Solskjaer causing trouble. but we'll talk about that later. But that's the real caveat. If that didn't happen, we obviously are talking about the elephant in the room, which is the Rashford injury. If it wasn't for that, I would really strongly recommend this guy. Now I'm not so sure, you know. But then that makes a perfect segue for the person who probably should be captain this week, which is Ings. And my word, this guy is fantasy gold at this point. I think he's a proper captain prospect. You know, I'm sure the stats are going to back him up.
Oh, for sure, bro. I mean, not only is he doing well, Southampton are doing exceptionally well. You know, they against Leicester, they held their own and won the game. So I mean, that tells you everything. Ings in his last 4 games has 3 goals, but this has been scoring like consistently, and he's injury prone. Past seem to be behind him in the past. He's got 1 goal and 1 assist against Wolves, so he's got a record against them. He's 3rd in the XG table, so they're expecting him to score again. In that Leicester game, he had 9 attempts at goal, 2 times hitting the bar, but I mean, it was the other 9-0 that happened in those games, you know. Plus, this was his 14th game, goal of the season, so he's in the form of his life. I personally have brought him in because he's been a thorn in my side for way too long. Look at this. It's not going to be as easy as it was last week against everybody else, but I still think he's going to carry this form as long as he doesn't get injured.
He really does cover the bases. He's got good stats. He's high on the XG table, and that XG table is definitely a metric that a lot of FPL managers out there are starting to use to like gauge who's going to be their next goal scorer. The XG means expected goals, right? And he's 3rd on that table, considering the team he's from. And I mean, I don't expect him to get a chance like every 10 minutes, like say, like if you were playing for like a better team. But I believe he had that chance every 10 minutes in that Leicester game, right?
Exactly, 9 chances in 90 minutes, 10 minutes chance.
Right. So, and his fixtures are looking like good.
I would say essential. He's essential to have.
Yeah, to have in your team, definitely. And captain pick, I would definitely say you can't go wrong if you pick him.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I don't see why not. Wolves have played midweek, so they're a bit tired.
Yes.
These guys are at home.
Yeah. That might have been the only caveat to me captaining him. He is obviously playing at home, but Wolves are usually a tough team to play. But like you said, they tried to go all out against United, weren't successful. Got over our bogey team, happy times. Moving on to our usual suspects. I mean, not going to be a lot of differentials here. But we've got Salah, we've got Vardy, of course, and then Rashford. But we'll talk about Rashford when we'll get to. But first, Salah. I mean, it's no coincidence that Salah and Mane are talked about almost every week. But with them being so expensive, Suj, it's just like difficult to bring them into your team. So most managers, I think, are probably leaning towards taking one or the other. Why are we taking Salah this week? Maybe go over both of them. Let's go over both of them.
Yeah, sorry, Salah is only there because I saw on the form table he has better form.
Okay.
But I just can't exclude Mane from this when I'm talking about this captaincy. Because, I mean, a lot of people will have Salah and Mane going into the double, or definitely in the double. Why not start now?
Yes.
The difference between the two of them is in the last 4 games, Salah's only got 1 goal, Mane's got 2 goals. Record against United, Salah has 1 assist against United, and Mane has 1 goal against United. Now, the biggest difference of these two is that Salah's 24th on that XG table, while Mane's 1st.
Okay. But I mean, we must also consider that United's defense, in that Wolves game, I thought a lot of people were saying like Man United's man of the match was Maguire, and I believe Ashley Young is now in Italy. Yes. Whoops, don't. And Maguire has been made club captain. So I actually think maybe I was actually completely convinced that United were gonna lose handily, but maybe defense-wise you think like they'll be a bit stronger. But again, just to say for Salah, I think Salah is still for me a little bit more of a big game player than Mane is. So I mean, in terms of the smell test, I think like Mane obviously spends more of his time up front, where Salah, I think, moves around a bit more. So yeah, if I were to pick one of the two, maybe for captaincy, I would also maybe just go for Salah. And then interesting, I must bring up the Twitterverse. Well, who's calling me at this right time? Perfect.
It's a Twitterverse calling you.
Yeah. The Twitterverse, my word. This was the stat I wanted to bring up. You could call it that. Martial, Rashford and Greenwood have combined to score 39 goals this season, while Salah, Mane and Firmino have only gotten 37. What does this mean? absolutely nothing. It's just the filthy
Yeah.
rantings of a jealous United fan. That's all it can be. But
For
I'm sure
sure,
a lot of people will be banking that Liverpool are not going to lose the game, and they're probably going to score a few, you know. And
Yeah, look,
unfortunately, I must admit, this is probably the best Liverpool side I have ever seen.
yeah, even though the defensive stats say something different, it's like ahead of facing them. United are in a strong defensive position the last 4 games. They've only allowed 18 shots, which is joint second, and 4 big chances, which is also joint second, behind only Liverpool themselves in both departments. Would this make things a little bit trickier if you want to captain them? Probably not, because we must remember the last 3 of United's last 4 opponents were Newcastle, Burnley, and Norwich, who aren't really the greatest teams in the world when it comes to attacking.
And don't forget our rule of 3 here. Every third game we definitely lose. So read into that what you will. And then just quickly, just to carry on with the Liverpool thing, I saw this wonderful meme where I was saying, like, you know, Liverpool have become Thanos. This is a funny thing. This is the Infinity Wars poster showing like all the heroes. And if you watch that movie, you know what happens at the end. And then Liverpool is basically snapping their fingers winning the league. But I'm just wondering though, have these people who came up with this meme seen the sequel? Do they know what happens to Thanos in the sequel? But I guess
can only
Liverpool
hope
fans
that the
won't care,
sequel
right?
happens.
But you think Liverpool fans will care? I don't think so.
I doubt it very much. They're going to win the league and not hear anything for at least 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, well, I don't
Shame,
blame
they
them.
deserve it. They waited a very long time.
Yeah, shout out to you, Sima. We know 30 years has been too long a wait. Good luck with that. Right. And moving on to Vardy, a little bit of disappointment coming his way. Southampton did a solid against him, but actually it's a worrying trend of Leicester's results. They seem to be like losing their mojo a little bit at the moment. And then VAR obviously robbed them of a last minute equalizer, and they robbed me of a Madison assist. They would have really made it. I love 90 points, but anyway. But here's the thing, Suj. I'm starting to think that maybe Vardy's run in my team has come to an end. I mean, he was the most captained player of Gameweek 22, and he got a paltry assist. I don't know where I'm thinking about bringing Aguero. What do you think? Am I being mad or am I wise?
Well, look, personally, let me just give you the stats here of Vardy and why I think he should be the one that you should captain this week. Because, I mean, okay, yes, in the last 4 games, he hardly played. He's only got 1 assist. Yeah. But against Burnley themselves, he's got 4 goals and 1 assist, right? Burnley have have lost the last 4 games, lost 4 out of the last 5. They've played 7 matches against last season's top 6, conceding 23 times. That's an average of 3.3 goals per game. No other side has shot more goals against these half-dozen teams than Burnley.
Okay,
over the last 4 game weeks, they've conceded 10 big chances, the 5th worst in the league. Look, last week, I think I made a personal mistake by captaining Vardy because the defensive stats of Southampton were much better than what they were of Aston Villa. So learning from that, that's the reason I'm going to go with Vardy this week. Burnley's just in the toilet when it comes to defending.
Yeah, you're actually right there. I felt the same way when I captained De Bruyne last week. And that obviously paid off, but it was a key thing was the fact that Aston Villa had that many injuries, and so their defensive stats were also like falling through the floor. So actually, you might be right there. That almost makes maybe the last one on our list irrelevant here. But Rashford, my word, Solskjaer had to have the good idea of bringing this guy on while he was carrying a knock, and he duly got a back injury. Now we don't really know. I mean, we picked him obviously on our list before we heard about the injury. There's still no word on whether he'll actually make the game, I don't think. But let's imagine for a second that fate is not as cruel as it actually is, and he somehow plays the game. We know he's a big match player, but what did the stats say, like, especially against Liverpool?
Well, against Liverpool, he's got 3 goals. In the last 4 games, he's got 4 goals, and he's second on the XG table.
Oof, okay.
Last week, I should have known, it was his 200th game. That's why he actually got that double-digit goal. He's 4th of the season.
Yeah.
But of course, with the injury worry, we'll have to look somewhere else for captain picks. I mean, if he was there, I mean, if he wasn't injured, then he'd be a banker. But now with this injury, perhaps maybe other people have to look elsewhere, like Aubameyang. Oh wait, sorry, he got a red card, so no. Devi's on decent form.
VAR screwed him badly by him breaking the horse ankle, and then he's shocked why he gets a red card.
But dude, I suspect Solskjaer is playing mind games here. He doesn't. I don't think it's as bad as we think it is.
Okay.
And I think he will play.
Okay. But how's Tammy Abrams for another alternative? He's got 2 goals and a single assist in the last 3, so he's on pretty good form. Although Chelsea also got a couple of injuries now. I think Pulisic is now also out. But and Kante is still. I don't think there's word on whether he'll play or not.
And terrible fixtures.
Yeah. Well, except for the next one, they are playing Newcastle away, and Newcastle have some of the most horrible of formness that you can find. All right. Okay. That's about it. So, Suj, who's your captain pick? You said Vardy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely have to think about that. That does sound like it's the right thing. But yeah, remember. So next week we're gonna be tackling the double game week. So maybe we'll do things a little differently. We're gonna focus perhaps on our picks on Liverpool. I mean, we're gonna have to do that. Let's see if maybe I'm completely wrong and Liverpool win 5-0. Then we will most definitely just focus on the Liverpool players, like who's the best pick for that double game week, and then we'll also quickly go over the best of the rest. But we'll focus mostly on the players who will be playing double game week. Until then, good luck to the FPL managers out there, and shout out to Fahim for you're top of the league now. I know the league hasn't really recognized that fact. They made you number 2, but you got the same points, and our previous number 1. Gee, you falling apart. You better change something. Maybe you're not listening to us enough.
Working too hard.
Yeah, working too hard. There we go. That's it for this week, Such. Good luck to you as well, and please make sure, guys out there, like this video. If you're new here, subscribe and let other people out there know, and make sure to click on the notification bell so you get our latest episode. All right. With that said, cheers, Suj.
Cheers, man.